you start off your self-improvement journey and you start dreading damn, my bad. You start dreading the feeling of the relapse, right? You know what I mean with the relapse. The relapse is just a period that you immerse in, I would say, more of the bad habits. So for instance, you've been working a couple weeks very hard, you're going to the gym, eating very clean, and all of a sudden you notice that you get like a kind of a dip, like a, 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 what's the right word? Yeah, a dip, right? So you notice that all of a sudden you got less energy and you start to emerge more and more in the bad habits. And I would even say that it's necessary. And what I mean, and why I say that is being productive 9 out of now, I would say being productive the whole day is basically a intense period. And you always, it's basically like the seasons, right? It's basically like the seasons. It will be summer, but winter must come. That's just law. And I really think that the same is with self-improvement. There will be times where you work very intensely and you're only eating clean and you're going to the gym 6 times a week, and then there will be times that you get like the relapse basically. And it requires a lot of energy to maintain at a certain at a certain at a certain level of productivity, and that requires a lot of energy. And that's something that a lot of people don't talk about. And what I want to say is the relapse is inevitable. He will always come. And what I've noticed with myself is as soon as I started my self-improvement journey, I couldn't handle the relapse anymore, because as soon as I relapsed, I just felt very, very bad. And I must say the relapses get less intense, right? Because before, when I relapsed, I really relapsed for like 2 weeks, that I was just not able to do that, the good habits. So I was just, to be very honest, I was doing all the bad habits. I was jerking off. I was eating a lot of junk food. I was consuming a lot of bad things. And those periods lasted for a couple weeks, and the relapses never went away, really. I must say that I can work more intense for a longer period, but the relapse is still like inevitable. Winter will always be followed by fall, right? That's just a law. And I do really think that's the same with self-improvement. And yes, it might be less intense, just like the weather in the winter. There will be winters where it's minus 40 degrees, and there will be winters when it's very warm for a winter. And that's the same with your self-improvement journey. But the relapse is inevitable, and it will be law. You must have a period of less intensity. And I do really think that it's really important that you learn how to handle and manage the less intense period, because as soon as I started the relapse or the less intense period, I noticed that I felt very guilty, because I was like, damn, I'm losing everything. I need to be back on track. And it's true, right? You need to make sure that you get back on track as soon as possible. But I really feel like that the guilt won't allow you to do that properly. What I've noticed is when you don't really judge the relapse, and it's hard though, because I noticed that I still judge the relapse in a way like, damn, I really shouldn't be doing this. But when you're just not continuously mentally, what's the right word? When you don't create that mental battlefield of like judging the things you're doing, I shouldn't be doing this continuously, then you will just feel very guilty. That will lower your energy, which will lower the chance of you getting back on track. And then you will just waste another day. And that's just really where I'm at. So my advice for people right now is, you can't escape the relapse, but the thing is that you shouldn't be judging it in a way, because I really believe in the way that, like, bro, we have been doing bad habits for like what, almost our entire year, and now we're on self-improvement. For me, I'm on my self-improvement for like what, 2 years now. And before that, I was doing my whole life consisted out of bad habits. So I do really believe that it takes some time, and there will be days when you will fall back in that old identity a little bit more. And that's what I've really noticed, is that it really takes time to take off those layers. Each relapse period is also a huge learning opportunity if you allow it, because the relapse is basically, and this is a concept that Hamza really shined the light on that for me. And after that, I started doing more research upon it. And what I've really realized is, you, like Hamza said, you will always relapse to your baseline identity. And that's really what the self-improvement journey still feels like, that it's something that it doesn't really resonate with me on a core level. And I must notice that it's getting more and more there, but it's still like deep down, you still feel like the insecure, anxious dude who been doing all the bad habits. And that's why I say, once you're in that stage, the relapse is inevitable. And I do always think that the relapse will always stay, but like I've said, he will become less intense. So probably my relapse in about 2 years will just consist out of maybe only watching some Netflix for maybe a couple hours only. That might be a relapse. And now the relapse is eating a lot of junk food, consuming a lot of bad content, laying in my bed, not really doing the work. And opposed to 2 years ago, it was even more intense, right? Like I said, I was staying in my bed for 2 weeks, just listening to sad music, continuously having those negative thoughts, negative feelings. And this is already getting all over the place, but yeah, my message is just really, the relapse is inevitable, and you can't really fight it, because you fighting it will just, because the relapse is really how you feel. You wouldn't do the bad habits if it wasn't a part of you. That's why you can do the bad habits, but you will never do some real crazy shit, because it's just not you. So that's what I've realized. I eat the junk food, but I can't really judge myself too much about it, because that's really how a part of my identity is still a junk food eater. So I can't fight that, because now I'm just, and this sounds sad and wrong, but then I will just fight against a part of my own identity, and that will just cause a lot of guilt, which will only put me further down in that relapse, further down into the bad habits. So we need to learn from the relapse, because the relapse are just the symptoms of the part of the identity that's still within us. still a part of our identity, is still fighting pain, and we use those bad habits to escape that pain. And that's why the relapse is really your way to journal and think very deep about, okay, why do I escape? Why? Because what I really notice with myself is the moment when I can't see myself doing the tasks, and I start really, really to identify with that insecure part of me, then I will oftentimes relapse. And what I've noticed is I can go for months, right? I've been going strong for like months, and then all of a sudden I just feel like very insecure, and then it will be like I can't believe I can't believe that I'm able to be successful, and then I will just escape that feeling. But I can't neglect it because it's still a part of me. And that's why I say the relapse is sadly but truly a part of you. And you need to do research upon you, what is causing you to act, and gives you a sense of a feeling that you need to escape through the relapse. So that's why the relapse is not to be judged, because it really is you. And that's the hard truth, but that's how you will grow, and that's how you will make the relapse less intense and less intense and less intense. And there might be even, I'm not really able to talk about it because I'm not yet there yet, but I actually do believe that you can beat the relapse, like in a way that it doesn't consist out of any bad habits anymore. Like I said, there will always be less intense periods there will be a period that you won't really be working on like a major project. You're just focusing on the growth of your social medias, things like that. But there might actually be a moment when you just don't participate in any bad habits. But we're not there yet. And that sounds wrong. This basically sounds like me saying like, yo, you're just unsuccessful. But you can still be very successful with like when you're still relapsing, in my opinion. And now I need to really articulate this a little bit more. But what I mean by that is I can go for months. No, I wouldn't say months. I can go for like a month and a half with just pure intensity without relapsing. I've done that before. And in those months, I can really make progress. So in those months where you will be very intense, you will still you can still make a lot of progress, right? You can still make a lot of progress. But once you relapse, you lose that intensity. And this is just, I don't know, there was just a silly example. Like, yeah, fuck that example, bro. The shit was goofy. But I hope that you know what I mean. But yeah, so the relapse is real crazy. And I forgot what I was trying to say because I was just letting out that goofy example. And that's really crazy, right? Because even though now I'm talking to you, I can still hear like that insecure voice within me, right? Like, fuck this video. This video is too bad, man. Nobody want to watch this. Like, things like that. And that's what I mean. Like, even on like the surface level, I'm talking to you. I'm doing something productive, but very deep down, there's still like a voice like, nobody really want to listen to you. You can't be successful. Nobody would want to learn for you. Your business won't be successful. And that's the relapse. That's the reason why you relapse, because it's deep down within you, and all of a sudden when you lose that intensity, it's basically, you could see it like the intense period. It's basically like this glass of lemon water, right? So this is your amount of intense energy, your productive energy, but after that you will, once this is done, right, once this is finished, you will entirely run on your subconscious programming, just how you really feel deep down. Even you might not be really conscious of it, right? So that's the relapse. So this cup is filled with all the positive habits: going to the gym, working on your business, growing your social media, networking, socializing, all that good shit. But as soon as this is done, then you will run on your it's basically like a car that has like 25% of it is 25% of it is electrical, and 75% runs on gas. Once that 25% is done, you need to run on that gas, and that's the same with the relapse. So 25% of you is you being productive, but because it's just on a surface level, because deep down you're still like a gasoline motor, so you still need to run on the gasoline, which is your core identity, and that consists out of the negative self-beliefs, things like that. And yeah, that's really how I feel, how my self-improvement journey is going. It's like I can go even though I can go very far with that 25% of positive habits, once it's done, I still fall back to like that level of where you just feel like you're just not worth anything, really. And yeah, that's like, and that's why I mean the relapse is inevitable at this point. So yeah, you can't fight it, because it's still a part of you. You can only do research upon it, and then we will go back to trauma again, because childhood trauma forms your, not even, and with childhood trauma I wouldn't even say childhood trauma, I would really say trauma in general forms your, really molds that motor, right? Your engine. So that's what I mean with the 25%, which is the electrical part of your car, might be productive, but the 75% is still traumatized. So it's still feeling pain, and it needs to escape that pain through the bad habits. So yeah, this is just me going on a whole nother rant, but yeah, I really like, let me know in the comments, right, if you feel like if I should script these videos or not, because I've tried scripting my videos and it has some benefits, because you know like the structure of your video, but I always narrow myself down to the structure, so I won't really, then it will just feel very fake, like, okay, we discussed this, but if something pops in my mind, I won't say it, because it will it isn't it because it's not a part of the structure. And in that I will just basically lose my authenticity. At least that's how I feel. But if you experiencing it different and you'll be like, damn bro, this shit is trash, bro, just structure your shit, let me know in the comments, right? I will really listen to that, and the next video will be structured. And then I will try to find a way how I can still remain like some authenticity within it. So let me know about that. I hope you like this video. If you want to see more of this content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I will leave my socials in my bio or in the description here, in the description of the video. I post on Twitter 3 to 5 times a day. I post on TikTok. I post things like workouts, day in the life videos of what I do. So yeah, feel free to check that out and stay improving, stay grinding. I'm out.